It's totally normal to struggle with motivation to finish your hobby projects, especially for us who are a bit newer to the hobby. So here's a few tips and hints from myself, and more importantly, Mr. Gabriel Thorne. He's a Golden Demon winner, and he's been a commission painter for 25 years, and this man churns out armies like you wouldn't believe. So take it straight from his mouth. Here are some excellent tips, tricks, and methodologies to help you get through that pile of shame, backlog, or just dip your feet into the water. Let's go.
Which is kind of where I want to go with army painting. With telling people how to, get through their armies. It's really about a process. It's really about batch painting, and coming up with the process that you can easily replicate across a whole army.
Yeah.
And some of the questions that you had alluded to before we started this were about how to stay motivated, and a big part of that is your process.
Yes, I agree with that. For me, when I'm looking at a new project or a new army or something, my paint scheme is almost always like, I think of like, okay, how can I do this in as little steps as possible, with as little different colors as I possibly can. This has like 3 or 4 different colors maximum on it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to go above that at all anymore.
Well, that's actually important. Not just in cutting down your the time you spend on each model, but also I'm a huge proponent of limited palettes on a model. Like, I think that if you can cut a color out of your model, to keep it under like 5 main colors, I think is as much as you really want on a model. If you really want it to stand out and show the details, and you pick a few colors for your army, and that's what you do across the whole army.
Yeah.
My Drukhari are 2 colors. They're black and white. They are. Yeah. I did them based on the Harkonnens from Dune.
Oh yeah, so cool. I saw.
Yeah,
I saw
they're all like
really cool.
bald-headed. I took the Incubi bald heads, because the Incubi set comes with both helmets and bear heads. So I just ordered a bunch of those on eBay, searched for the bits, and did the whole army with their bald Incubi heads. But their skin is white, their armor's black, and that's it. There's the weapons are silver. There's occasionally like a little dot of red, where there's like they'll have like an armband or something, but black and white, whole army, and it looks fantastic. I think when you start putting too many colors on an army, it starts getting confusing. It doesn't tie together very well.
Yeah.
And like you said, it adds steps and makes it harder. And that's what we want to avoid when you're trying to burn through your pile of shame.
So, as it goes through a process, if you're making your way through an army, and you're going unit by unit, if you're painting infantry, how many infantry do you paint at a time? What's the kind of maximum that you paint in one batch? And do you follow like that? I'll paint the base color on all the guns, and you'll go through every single miniature and do that on each one. What's your limit to amount you'll do at once?
I call it blocking in. I usually do a batch. If I'm doing a batch painting, I'll do like 5 infantry at a time. Okay. I'm actually putting together some blood claws right now, and I'm gonna put. I'm doing a unit of 20. I'm gonna do 5 at a time, because otherwise,
interesting,
I get burned out doing all of the gray on 20 blood claws, and then all of the black, and then it's too much. 5 at a time, you're giving yourself that little mental reward of completing a few models, but you're also getting enough done to make progress. So, right, like you want to get you want to constantly reward yourself to keep your momentum going. So every now and then you might paint 5, let's say 5 blood claws, and then I'm going to paint a wolf priest as kind of a reward, because I can knock that out in a few hours and it's going to look cool and it's going to keep me motivated.
I like that. That's good. You like in building little serotonin
right.
pockets of juice
those little serotonin shots in your head, because you're like, oh, all right, I finished this. It looks great. And now I've got the momentum to move into the next 5 infantry.
Yes. Well, I remember when I was younger, when I was first starting, I'd want that gratification too soon. So I'd want to paint up a whole miniature and go, all right, I'll paint up this guy, and then I'll move on to the next. And obviously, like, you do maybe 2 and you go, bloody hell, I don't want to start this whole thing again. So yeah, that's a good middle ground, I feel, doing 5 at a time. Yeah,
5 at a time seems to be my good working pace. Now obviously, if they're really easy to paint, like Necron warriors, I can batch paint 10 of those at a time, because it's silver, wash, lighting. And okay, cool. That's pretty much it. But if you're painting something more complex, with leather and pouches and purity seals and all that on it, then you want to pace yourself, because the fiddly bits is where you really lose a lot of people, because it's one thing to go through and spray paint this army gray and then do a wash and then do edge highlighting, but now I got to do all the pelts and pistols and the aquilas and everything, and that really slows you down. So you want to keep it in bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, no, I could definitely get on board with that. There's something I might implement a little bit, actually, especially in Eldar. There's a lot of guys who come in groups of 5, so that works really nicely, actually.
Right. I mean, 5 fire dragons, if you can knock that out in a sitting, then
it's exactly what I was thinking of.
Right, because everyone wants to run 5 fire dragons, right? Throw Fuegan in there and go pop a knight.
Fuegan is looking so nice.
I just sold a army of aspect war. I've got so much Eldar. I sold the aspect warriors part of it, and there were 10 fire dragons, Fuegan. I think all of the aspect warriors. I think I had at least a unit of 5 of everything in there. But with that army, I came up with a paint scheme that was easy to replicate and really, really stood out. It was like the galaxy themed Eldar, and they looked great, but they were relatively easy to paint. I'll tell you the secret. The way to make it work is, again, you got to treat yourself. For example, I had a big, huge Knights commission. It was, I think I probably painted 20 something Imperial Knight or Chaos Knights. And then, so every time I would paint a Knight, I would switch over and paint 5 of whatever, or I don't remember what army I was doing at the time, but I'd paint 5 of those. Yeah. And I'd go back and do a Knight, then do some of mine, and that way I wasn't just getting burnout and like hating this commission. Focusing on the goal. You have this goal in mind of having a well-painted miniature or unit, and understand and seeing that progress as that miniature gets finished, and then the satisfaction of having it done. And between point A and point B, you're trying to eliminate as many painful steps as you can. What I always tell people is it's not how fast you paint, it's how accurate, because you're not going to have to go back and fix mistakes if you don't make the mistake in the first place. So it sometimes it helps to go a little slower and try to avoid making those mistakes. And it also really helps develop your brush skills. There's something to be said for excellent brush control. I personally don't have excellent brush control, but I really try hard, and I try to keep it clean. And mainly because I don't want to go back and fix, mistakes where I went over, over a pauldron and, now I've got paint on there. I got to go back and redo it, especially in a color like yellow or something that's awful to try to go over with. But yeah, it's giving yourself those little rewards along the way. If I finish blocking in all of the black on these 5 models, then I'm gonna, take a break and then I'll come back to it. And just setting those little goals, really achievable small goals. I'm gonna do all of the brown on this model, and that's my goal. And then you reach that goal and you can go off and do something else and come back and say, okay, now I'm gonna do all the gray on this model. And you want to break it down into these bite-sized steps.
Okay, I'd like to throw something in there as well. My fiance, she's a normal painter. She paints canvases and stuff like this. She doesn't do it as much as she used to, but at one point she was painting a oil painting of the Shire, and in the back you could see Bilbo in his house, like through his window at night. It was very nice. But she's like the same. She kind of struggled with the motivation to sit down and do it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. Just for these next 2 weeks, just do 5 minutes a day, because you can sit down for 5 minutes a day.
Right. Yeah. Right?
And she did. So just 5 minutes. That's all you have to commit to. But what would happen is she would sit down, she would do the 5 minutes, and she'd go, oh, I'll keep going. I'm in the rhythm now. And before you know it, she was sinking in 2 hours a day. And she finished it. It was one of the first big pieces that she ever finished. And it was just that little, just saying, I'm just going to sit down for 5 minutes. And it can just be only 5 minutes. But realistically, you're going to want to continue. So yeah, these achievable little things.
Yeah. You're not committed to 2 hours, you're committed to 5 minutes.
Yes.
But once you're there, you're like, okay, well, I finished all the black on this squad. I'm going to do all the brown now because I'm moving along. And also, there's a lot to be said for having something, either music or a TV show or a movie or something on that your background noise, basically. And you can just kind of get lost in a comfort show while you're painting.
If you'd like to see some more on this topic, the full video is out on the YouTube channel now. I will leave a link in the description, and you can hear me and Mr. Gabriel Thorne go back and forth for about an hour and 15 minutes, and there's plenty more information than there was presented in this video here. If you're feeling generous, I would very much so appreciate you dropping a like and a subscribe, as it is very much so helping me get to my target of 300 subscribers by the end of the year. That would mean a great deal to me if you were able to take the time to do that. In other matters, I hope you all have a great Christmas, and thank you very much for everybody who's been actually watching and keeping up with me. It's been humbling just how many people have done so. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a lovely Christmas and take care.